Hello, 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 everyone. Mike Arnold here, co-founder, Pat Trading Partners, along with Bob Iacchino. How is everyone doing? Time change Sunday. Time change, time change, time change. So, for everybody who might have missed this live because you're one of the overseas viewers or you just lost track, if you're in a state that doesn't change time, which all states shouldn't change time, excuse me. Uh, hey, I'm sorry you missed it live, but glad you're tuning in. Happy Sunday, Connor. Hello, Patrick. Laura, hello, Sashi. Welcome, 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 everybody, to another trading week. Does anybody else already need a break and this trading week hasn't even started yet? I sure do. Remember, we got a lot of stuff coming up. We got the elections. So, even if you're not in the US, the elections are can substantially cause some volatility in the markets because this is an important midterm elections. Midterms halfway through the 4-year term of the president. So we shall see if the balance of power shifts in the House of Representatives and the Senate this week, or one and or the other, or both. Right now, everything's held by Democrats, so we shall see if the Republicans can do something. Not going to make this about politics. And you know what? Everybody who's a regular here already knows I'm an independent libertarian, essentially. Enforce some rules we do have. Get the hell out of our way if you don't have anything good to do. And you know what? So there you go. That's my perspective. Now, tomorrow, let's see, Connor, going to be a lot of volatility. Not necessarily tomorrow. Connor didn't say that. I did. But Tuesday, the elections don't wrap up till Tuesday night, and then we might not know the results, which in this day and age, how can races drag on for days? Not saying anything beyond that. Sashi chop chop until Wednesday. I think we see a release rally after Wednesday to before Thanksgiving. It all depends, and that might not happen on Wednesday. If they're contested, if now, if the House goes to the Republicans as forecasted, and the Senate stays close, and there's some toss-up elections that they're going to have to do extended counting and recounts and maybe find some ballots somewhere, then this thing could drag on, especially if the Senate remains contested. So, we could not have it resolved by Wednesday. Hopefully, it will be resolved by Wednesday so we can get that out of the way. Tomorrow, we got Fed speakies. More quiet periods over. Yay, Fed speakies. Not really. They're just going to confuse things more and more with this. We're hawkish, but we're going to throw in some dovish comments. And we could maybe think about pivoting a year off. We could think about things 5 years off. Okay, whatever. Tuesday, which is election day, not much going on. So there's just very minor. Wednesday, the day after elections, with results still coming in, could be volatile. Wholesale inventories minor. I mean, it has medium. Yeah, but we have Fed Barkin speaking. So Wednesday's mostly going to be on election days if things are close. Election results. Thursday, though, do not ignore Thursday. Inflation numbers coming out and unemployment numbers. Not non-farm payroll, but the weekly unemployment numbers. Non-farm payroll was on Friday if you were in a cave somewhere. So Thursday morning is going to be key. I don't know if this time zone is not right. I'll have to check this, but this is I think this is set to Eastern or didn't refresh properly with the time change. because this should be 7:30. This should be hour before the open, or if you're Eastern, opens at 9:30. So I'm just used to Central Time. Then we got more Fed speaks. Friday is Veterans Day. It is a bond market holiday, but not a stock market holiday. And we have the preliminary numbers for consumer sentiment for November. Preliminary numbers, remember, then we get the revision or the finalized numbers. But these are the preliminary numbers. So that's where we sit there. Pretty nice bounce back day for the most part on Friday, except for some software stuff, Tesla, and just a smattering of other things. Basic materials led to charge on Friday. I went over to stock sector overview, which went up a little while ago, so do check that out. Materials are a key sector in that. Over the week, energy and basic materials, the strongest things. Communication services, which is absolutely trash, and technology, which is due to a lot of earnings, is still in the toilet. Fed Watch tool, roughly still 50-50. This is going to change so often. Until it starts getting above 80% on one side, it's going to be noise. I'm just going to keep watching it. Fear and greed, still in greed mode. The current market valuation still fairly valued to, remember, fairly valid. I don't normally point this out, but you can even shift down below zero and it's still in that fairly valued zone. I am, though, in long term watching for it to get down here before we eventually get to a market bottom. Earnings still got not major, but a lot of earnings this week. Palantir tomorrow before the opening. Not going to really be market moving. After the close, Lyft will be interesting. Activision Blizzard, but nothing really market moving. Tuesday, and DuPont. Not a lot before the open that's really going to be substantial. After the close, Disney will be very interesting to pay attention to. For all those apes still out there, AMC, which is in the toilet again. See, if there's no gamma squeeze, there's none of these squeezy squeezes, the stock's just not worth it. You got Lucid and Wednesday, Roblox. Roblox, pretty much one of the bigger ones. After the close, be interesting to see what Rivian's doing. Other than that, Beyond Meat, garbage. Not much. Thursday, I know some people watch NIO. Ralph Lauren is actually interesting to me. But probably not many other people. After the close, just looking, not much on Thursday at all. Friday, nothing really from my perspective, but individuals, unless you're holding those stocks. The real thing is, if you're holding those stocks, know what the earning day is. What did I miss? I knew there was something else I wanted to talk about, but no, I'm going to be looking at a firm. Why? Because I want to see if they're, after the close on Tuesday, how their default rates or delinquencies are, if they're ticking up at all. Hey, George. New November high by Friday if Dems go packing. You could see a substantial rally if the House and the Senate go to the Republicans and you got, therefore, massive gridlock. You could see in my book, you could see a pretty decent bounce. And traditionally, Thanksgiving week starts the 21st of November. In the U.S., Thanksgiving's not till the 24th, but Thanksgiving week is historically a bullish week. Not guaranteed, but historically a bullish week. All right, are we done yet? Good evening, Christoph. Wouldn't be surprised to see Yeti report good earnings. We can look at that if you remind me it's closer to then, but yeah, but that's not, I'm really focused on more so what's going to really impact the market. And there aren't a ton of earnings that will do it. It'll be interesting, though, to see Disney in relation to Netflix. So are we going to be quiet going into Monday or Tuesday? We bounced twice. We bounced off Thursday and Friday off the 50% level on the S&P. So that is key. We start getting down below about this 37.15 area. My target zone is 36.76 to about 36.61. Which then that 36.61.75 is key on the closing basis. Why? Because of the probabilities with the harmonics. If we stay flat, 37.15, even if we dump down to 37.04, which is Thursday's lows, that's a key support zone. You can see it down here, major support zone. So for overnight price action on a pullback, overnight I'd be looking at about 37.51, 37.50, and then the key level below that 37.20. Then that anything below 37.20 gets dicey, but until you really break this 37.04, there's not much to the downside. Hello, options 22. Happy Sunday. So those are the key pullback levels. Breakout level, remember, we got a clear path move with some minor stoppage here. So above 37.84. The next little minor area above there is right around this 38.21. So that's where I'm watching the breakout. I'm more so focused on pullbacks tonight, and then and more of a choppier market at least for Monday. On a cycle point of view, cycles are finally getting to the bottom on the daily and not yet on the top for the weekly. So if we do break out, if we do start getting the breakout play, whether it happens preferably Wednesday, but if it starts anytime and we get above, especially these key 37.80, 37.85 level, we could make an interesting run to the upside with daily cycles at the bottom heading up and weekly cycles not yet at the top and rolling over. So there could be some substantial upside momentum too, as long as everything's turning up. Do keep that in mind. And also the inverse head and shoulder pattern is still in play. NASDAQ, which retested the low areas from mid-October. So. The breakout area, if it starts trading above about 10,916, I'm focused on 10,978, and then above 10,978, that's where we get into the clear path move. All right, so that's much more key. Above this 10,978, and then I'm using the harmonic right around this 15-minute stopping area. I'd use it as stop reduction, 11,138. If we start breaking below 10,871, first level of support is about 10,815, and then not much back down to 10,865. Very key, however, is this 10,685. We start breaking below there, 10,636, and then we're sort of in this no man's land. This is where is nice to use these harmonics, which is what I will be using should we break below 10,636, 10,593, 10,551. Hey, Waka Waka. Yeah, Meta did announce a bunch of layoffs. So, China COVID is getting crazy and COVID zero is still in place. Yes. COVID zero is not going away, I don't think, anytime soon. And Waka thinks CPI on Thursday will be hot. Well, Thursday is a long way off, especially with the elections coming up. So let's just see. So that's the NASDAQ. The Dow Again, all these cycles on all of them are hitting close to the bottom on the daily, the top on the week, or getting to the top on the weekly, but I'm really watching when the daily and the weekly get both are at the top. Right now, it does favor an upside bias. If we do break down in the, I'm just doing the bigger picture for the Dow. If we break down below Thursday's low, I'm focusing on 31,567 area with the rising rotation zone. And then below that would be the 50. To the upside, above Friday's high, I'm watching about 32.9. Russell, still technically the double bottoms in play. Breakout above Friday's high, which we're not far off of it. So the early warning is about 1805. Then above 1818, 1831, and then about 1850. To the downside, can't get overly bearish, at least short-term bearish, until below 1776. Then 1758, then major coming in about 1747. Where else do we have? So DAX coming in on this next major area is right up here for the DAX, this 13,620 area. That's where I'm watching for the upside. Any pullback is roughly about 13,375. Notes was horribly sloppy. Still on a 1 hour, still this sloppy double with this extended sideways range is triggered. Same targets in place. Short term, if we break below this 109.25, then I'll be watching for a return to the lows and the invalidation of the double. Dollar index, which had a massive reversal on Friday, still not triggered the double on the weekly, which still is in play. So support level 109.85 and then 109.20 to the downside. Holding the 50 again. To the upside, I am using the harmonics, which you see have held pretty well. 111.24. Then 111.93 area. Then 112.62. Until then, I'm watching for the key support should it head lower, with daily cycles still at the top and weekly cycles not yet at the bottom. So this is going to be interesting. Now, if we start breaking below the weekly rotation zone, we could be getting a topping pattern in the dollar, a longer term topping pattern in the dollar. The beginning of the week is going to be very interesting. VIX, we still have the downside targets on the VIX. Crude finished the double pattern. I talked about this on Friday. A break above about 94. 95.81 is a key area for a stop reduction for me. And then the major target is 97.90 area. 200 and a harmonic. And if you're doing retracement extensions from bop, 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 let me put, so you can see them here. Let's see that I have them on here. These are retracement extensions. The retracement extension is up here also. So we have a triple cluster in this area. So on a breakout play, those are the two key levels I'm watching. Key support coming back in at 89.20 area. So that's on any pullback. Still holding this little short-term breakout wedge. The longer breakout wedge is above this 94. Gold. I was going to do a separate video on gold. I have not had a chance yet. This is a valid double pattern. So we'll be watching for that to trigger. If an intraday play would be above about 1679, with using the 1686 as a really quick stop reduction for a breakout play. And then if it does not close above the 1679 is taken off the table into the close. But the targets, if this does trigger the double on the daily basis, 1708 1723, and then the lowest probability is 1737. Why? Because it's in the wick. So I'd be focused on the first two targets, especially for reward to risk, with cycles turning up. Is this a long-term bottom? No, this is a short-term bottom. If I can, I'll still get a video out on that. Euro, technically no invalidation of the double bottom, and it's this upward flagging pattern also after the double was triggered. So I'm going to be watching a return to parity over the next couple days and then see if it can retest this high, but the double pattern still isn't technically invalidated. This did not close below the 62.5. Key pullback, first level is 99.85, and then majors 98.20. Let's just see. Yeah, I'm doing it off the settlement price. If you went off the shorter term, Christoph, if you went off the 4-hour trigger, it triggered. There's always weird settlement prices. See, you can see it. Technically, you could trade it off the 4-hour. Yes. If you're waiting for the daily close, it did not trigger. Technically, and that's how it was tested. It doesn't matter if it was weird settlement prices. If this were trading off a daily pattern, it technically did not go. That's why I'm saying that. If you're trading it off the 4-hour pattern, it did go. And if you were looking at what I covered also on Friday with Sprott physical gold, it's triggered. So 4-hour in the gold market is triggered and Sprott physical has triggered. The daily has not due to the settlement price. Oh boy, there's all this back and forth. You know, you can be bullish and bearish. Trade the patterns. Bitcoin, still watching for the continued upside play after this breakout. The key pullback level is still the prior breakout level, 20,835 with the rising rotation zone now. No, this is not a long-term breakout play. This is a short-term breakout play. You start, though, breaking down below this 20,300. Not good from a short term. That would be, at this point, getting to a key closing stop level. Tesla will peak at tomorrow. Again, no double bottom because it's triple bottom. No, there's no inverse head and shoulders. So the close below 62.5, but it also hit the 87.5. So it's really now, if it breaks back down, if it breaks below Friday's low, 198.59, and then major cluster at 194.15. ES monthly makes me think it needs to reconnect with the 200 SMA or retest the 2002. You want ES monthly? Well, long term, we're still very bearish. On the ES monthly, retest 2000, 2008 high. Could it happen? Yeah. Is it likely at this point? No. I mean, yeah, we could do it. My key area would be closer, if we're having the bigger pullback, would be 2,500, unless we go into a massive global recession. Massive. Then we could see a return to that. Would that be my primary target? No, not yet. And fundamentally, we should is stronger right around this 2,800 from a technical and fundamental perspective. So shorter term, I mean, not shorter term like in the next month or two, but after especially in first quarter next year, I'm more focusing in this area. This would be a longer, more drawn out down move. So then I'd have to revise targets lower. Is it possible? Yes. Is it likely? Not yet at this point. And even if we did that same thing on the NASDAQ, you still wouldn't be down 95%, Waka Waka. Boy, would that be a bloodbath. You'd have to have some massive collapse in earnings, too. Not just a standard earnings, you'd have to have a substantial earnings recession. Yes, do I think the earnings pullbacks have not been anywhere close to being priced in? Yeah, at this point the priced in level is right around 28 to 2900 in my book. Not the priced in level, the pullback level. So we'd have to even see massive beyond that earnings compression, which could still happen, but we're really going to need a slowdown. Tesla should see 160 this week. All right, Waka. And it'd still be overvalued. Oh, boy, you guys are funny. Did the monthly Tesla Head and Shoulders trigger? Yep. Not last month. It might trigger this month. It's not triggered on a monthly basis yet. It would have to close the month down here. So we'd have to close the month down here. But it's already been confirmed. Boy, so many people bearish on Tesla. Oh, this is going to be interesting. So what again? Could it see a 60 print on Tesla again long term? We shall see. Yes. Well, the results will start. They can't really. Well, they can do the polling, out of the people voting, but there's so many people have done early elections and mail-in ballots and everything else. You'll start to see the results trickle out after the polls are closed on the East Coast. So it's going to be, sometime Tuesday evening, you start getting early results for the races on the East Coast. The races on the West Coast, you won't be getting results until late, and those will be only early results. So unless there's runaway races, it probably won't be decided till a lot of stuff won't be decided until early morning Wednesday, if then. I think if Republicans win, it would be seen as a positive on the market. It would be gridlock. So that's where we sit. I'm going to wrap this up a little early today because it's going to be a long trading week. Again, thank you everyone for tuning in. We can take watch the sector overview since I am finishing this up early. And then we'll look at some individual stocks if there's anything looking good tomorrow afternoon for any potential post-election plays. We will talk to everyone later. Thank you for tuning in. What is the midterms? So since you're overseas, Waka, and you could Google it, but if anybody just doesn't know, I'll recap it one more time. The midterm is the halfway point between with the current presidency. When you generally get a major shift, not always, but a general shift, especially if the dissatisfaction with the president is higher. And right now, the Democrats control the presidency, the House, and the Senate. The House and the Senate are both up for grabs. There you go. The House will most likely, barring very strange circumstances, will go Republican. The Senate is closer, although they're now predicting it's going to go possibly Republican. If you get Republican, and then you can't do anything with Biden in the presidency, it is gridlock because anything Republicans, there would not be a supermajority in the Senate, which needs 60 seats, and there's no way the Republicans can get 60 seats. So they can't override vetoes from Biden. So it gets into gridlock. They're not going to pass Biden's agenda. Now, remember, the based off the elections, they don't take office until January. So just because you have the elections, and I know a lot of people know this, I'm also reiterating it for people just might not be aware, or from overseas perspective, even if it's goes Republican, they don't take office until January. So you can still have interesting things happen before January. Well, since you're here, you want MOS? MOS. MOS. Yeah, the only way I'd be interested in a longer term, anything bullish is above 55. You have a gap left behind, so the only short-term play to the bullish side is for a gap fill to 51.89. Key support is right around this 46.50. You break below that, you're looking for a retest of 42.50. You break below 42.50. Your next major area is about 37.35. Next minor is 40. Right now, it's essentially in no man's land, holding this little support with a bearish overtone. This is, you're in congestion. You can see here with the weekly rotation zone is flat. Daily rotation zone is flat. So breakdown play below this 46.50, retest of the lows break, then 40, then 37.35. Besides a quick little gap play, which wouldn't really change anything in the bigger macro picture, it would need at least starting to get a daily close above 55 before I would be at all looking for anything bullish. Well, it's not a penny stock. Let's be correct, Waka Waka. It's trading in consolidation. It's not dead. It's trading in consolidation. I think those are just not really smart comments. This is not dead. It's still trading, and it's not a penny stock. Is it going anywhere right now? No. That's why it's either the breakdown or the breakout play. In here, the only thing is the gap play. Other than that, nothing. But, depending on your longer term outlook, if I had to bet, it's longer term or breakdown play. Earnings are at the end of November. So if you're making me take a bet, it would be for a bearish play. But it would not be confirmed, at least in the short term, without a daily close below 46.50. Well, it's a long way off from a penny stock. Come on. Come on. If we're talking the lows right around 20, if we get down around this $5 range, I'll give you it's getting closer to a penny stock. But not now. And I personally would not be bullish on it. But it doesn't matter what I am. I think it'll easily, by the way, here's your weekly. This longer term, we'll see a reconnection probably with the weekly before this bear market's over. It'd be hard pressed to turn this I mean, unless they totally screw up the company, it's going to be hard pressed. And by the way, the major support, that 37, 35 area, is pretty substantial support. You can see here resistance, resistance, retested here, and then the breakaway play. So that's a pretty substantial long-term support. Hey, what Rams a fall? So that's where we sit. Now I am wrapping it up. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye for now.